that EACC fast tracks and reports back to the committee so that it becomes
EACC, can you be told that? No.
Because you remember the reason I'm saying there, I don't know who was chairing.
About the EACC here.
Yes, so that they can guide us, so that we don't have to look back.
They have their way of doing this thing.
Okay.
Chair, at some point then you have to bring the Senator of Nandi to order. He is a lawyer and he tells us that he has just come from presenting a thesis. I believe it's a master thesis in law.
Chair,
wait, let me just finish. Chair, let me finish.
Standing Order 101, Part 4 of the Senate Standing Orders. Senator Wambo, which I don't have a problem of being this, should bring a substantive motion. I will handle him at that level.
No.
So I don't want to handle him at this point. Can we proceed? He is risking discussing me, which is unfair.
No, I'm not discussing. I'm just saying.
And I've agreed, since the chair has ruled.
Being a lawyer.
Senator Wambua, since he has ruled, I've agreed with the chair.
No, Chair, I must say what I have to say.
Dogs lie.
Chair, I must say what I have
to work them, we can work the tail.
I must say what I have to say. Chair, we cannot pretend in this committee that we can direct the speed at which EACC.
Now, Senator Wambua, say what you're saying.
I'm saying we cannot pretend that we can give directions to the speed at which EACC does their work.
Yeah.
I mean, they have confirmed to us that these are matters that they are dealing with. Let them deal with them, and then we move on to the substantive issue. I thought Cherargei wanted us to look at the projects.
We have
the projects.
But Chair, you have ruled and I have agreed.
Discussed that before with the EACC.
Yeah.
And they have their own way of doing investigations. We might not be able
Chair,
to.
I think what Senator Wambua misheard me is that as the area senator, I'm requesting EACC to fast track the investigation. That's it. Is that not a fair request? It is. Thank you, Chair. I yield.
So let's look at 3.3.
Chair, we're getting invited into the debate.
Senator Mandagatai, you're talking without me giving you the mic. Auditor, let's look at 3.3. Please go through the query. So which one is that? Proposed construction of perimeter wall. Auditor, where is it in our?
Thank you. It's in page 82.
82, page 82, members. So go through it.
Which appears as a number 5 in that.
All right.
So thank you, Chair. This is the report of the Auditor General on County Executive of Nandi for the year ended 30th June 2024. Mr. Chairman, this was a qualified opinion. So we go to paragraph 3.3. Proposed construction of perimeter wall and external works for the new governor's office. Review of records provided revealed that 6 firms tendered for the contract of construction of the perimeter wall and external works for the new governor's office. One of the local firms which won the tender entered into a contract with the county government of Nandi to carry out construction works for perimeter wall and external bathing works to the governor's offices at Kapsabet on 10th July 2023 at the contract sum of Kenya shillings 24,659,930, and the project was expected to take 12 months. However, the following observations were noted. 1, 2 interim certificates were raised and a total of Kenya shillings 19,487,859 was paid to the contractor in the year under review. However, the payment certificates were not supported by works measurement sheets, appraisal documents for the measured works. The detailed priced bills of quantities was not provided for audit, making it difficult to establish the detailed works and actual costs. Roman 2, review of the project expenditure records revealed that the bill of quantities included prime cost sum of Kenya shillings 5,250,000 for construction of 10 cubic meter elevated water tank, including pumping system and the correction of all roof catchments into an underground tank, which was to be carried out by a subcontractor. However, there was no documentation provided to prove that the subcontracted works were competitively sourced. Roman 3, physical verification of the works for the perimeter wall and external bathing works in September 2024 revealed that the elevated tank was already installed and paid under interim certificate 01 for Kenya shillings 2,625,000. It was also noted that the pumping system underground tank, and roof catchment works had not been constructed. Roman 4. Other observations made from the bill of quantities revealed that 3 double steel gates, each measuring 6,000 by 100 mm high, costed at Kenya shillings 300,000 each, and 2 pedestrian gates, each measuring 1,300 by 2,100 mm high, costed at Kenya shillings 50,000 each, were provided for in the bill of quantities. However, only 2 double steel gates not of same size and 1 pedestrian gate or made of metal bars were erected. The gates drawings were not provided for review. 5. Provisional sums of Kenya shillings 350,000 were made for project supervision, Kenya shillings 450,000 for electrification, Kenya shillings 1 million for storm drainage, and 1 million Kenya shillings for supervisory costs, and Kenya shillings 500,000 for contingencies. However, these amounts were not accounted for. 6. The project duration was expected to be 12 months, effective 10th July 2023. However, as at the time of audit in September 2024, the works had not been handed over. Number 7. Review of records further revealed that the project manager did not maintain a project file, and therefore important project information such as contracts, drawings, priced bill of quantities, ground handing over stroke order to commence, minutes, site inspection minutes, and site instructions, among other correspondences, were not provided for review. Thank you.
Governor, point us to your response.
Chair, our responses are on page 28.
Go ahead.
So, Chair, with regard to the proposed construction of perimeter wall and external works for the new governor's office, for issue number 1.
Wait for members. It seems they are not getting where
Page
we
28, the red file.
Executive response.
The orange or the red file? The big bundle one. Page 28.
Go ahead.
So with regard to 3.31 on the interim certificates, the works measurements, the work measurement sheets, and the bill of quantities are hereby annexed, and further schedules of works against the actual is also attached, and that is annex 20. Annex 20 is
On which file?
the same file.
Governor, you don't need to look at the annexes. It's for us to look at them.
Okay.
Just go through the responses so that we can use our time effectively.
Okay.
If there's any query, we would ask you.
And then on issue number 2, on the review of the project expenditure, the response is as follows, Chair. An amount of Kenya shillings 5,250,000 was not subcontracted because the main contractor had the capacity to execute the works and did execute the works. So that is response for 2. Number 3, on the physical verification of the 2.6 million, the response, Chair, is that the amount of Kenya shillings 2,625,000 was paid to cover the already done works of the elevated tank. However, the balance was supposed to cover the remaining works of the underground tank and the pumping system, which were awaiting the completion of the main structure. Chair, again, on the observation made on the bill of quantities, the response here is that The 2 pedestrian gates could not be constructed due to constraint of space. The funds were allocated to other works which were over and above the bill of quantities. Number 4, the provision sums of 350,000 and 450,000 for electrification, 1 million for storm drainage, and 1 million for supervisory work, and 500 for contingencies. There were site instructions to reallocate the said amounts of works to cover not covered by the bill of quantities. And in Annex 20A, we have the works measurements sheet. On the duration of the project, Mr. Chair and committee, the project experienced delays beyond the stipulated contract period, primarily due to the dependency of external works on the completion of the main structure, which itself fell behind schedule. The delay was largely attributed to the main contractor limited capacity to execute the works as planned. Consequently, the contractor subcontracted the specialized components of the project, which had contributed significantly to the delay. These specialized works have since been completed by the subcontractor, thereby paving the way for the continuation and completion of the remaining external works, which are currently ongoing at site. The full project profile, containing the relevant documentation and progress records, is available and has been annexed here for your review, and that is Annexure 20D.
We still have one more.
Chair, can we go to 3.9?
No, just a minute.
So that I can ask Global, sorry, okay. On the governor's office building, because he has alluded in his response that there is a delay in the main structure.
Okay, so let's go to 3.9 auditor, so that you tie in with the 3.2. 3.9.
Thank you, Chair.
Has to do with construction of the governor's office building.
3.9, construction of the governor's office building, Nandi County headquarters. Review of records provided indicated that the county government of Nandi entered into a contract with the Rocco firm for the construction of governor's office building, Nandi County headquarters. A budgetary allocation of Kenya shillings 20 million was made towards the completion of the project. However, out of Kenya shillings 20 million budgetary allocation, payments amounting to Kenya shillings 4,326,400 were made to the local contractor during the year under review. Further contract agreements, payment vouchers supporting the payments, and the project file were not provided for audit review. Although there was a sign of a recent external painting works on the building, which was still incomplete, access to the physical site for verification was limited as the project manager was not available on site and the site was closed with no activity going on. Thank you, Chair.
Governor.
The payment vouchers and the supporting documents are available and all have been provided for your review, and it's captured in Annex 26, the contract agreement and the copy of the payment voucher.
Okay, that's a long query, 3.3, with many sub-paragraphs. Auditor, what is still outstanding in that 3.3?
Thank you, Chair. Now, on 3.3, what is that the project is still not yet complete, though in our recent verifications, we found out that now the contractor came back and the works were in progress. So maybe in our current audit, we will still capture the status of the project.
But there are many issues to do with the non-provision of information. Have the documents been provided? Like in part 1, the detailed price bill of quantities was not provided for audit, making it difficult to establish the detailed works and actual cost. Is all the documentation now provided?
Yes, Chair, the documents have been provided.
So our only problem is that the project was not complete in time and the contractor was not on site.
Yes, Chair, and we believe because we are currently doing the audit, a more updated report will be provided on that.
Senator Cherargei asking for the mic.
Chair, two things. One, maybe to Governor, why didn't you provide documentation in time contravening the Public Audit Act? Because the Public Audit Act is very clear. If these documents were there, why do you want us to believe that it was not manufactured? Number two, I've seen you have gone ahead to do a perimeter wall. And the contract sum was 24,659,930. Yet the main office is still incomplete. And in fact, the one budgetary allocation of only 20 million. Why would you allocate? I thought the wise thing would be to complete the main structure of the county office. Then the perimeter wall would be done at the later stages because the access to site must be. And finally, I agree with the observation that the only thing that has changed in our office, Mr. Chairman, because I pass here, is the color of paint that is already changing with time. But the question should be, why would you allocate 24 million to do a perimeter wall, and then come and allocate 20 million to complete the main office, and then on the issue of provision of documentation, and finally, Chair. So, Governor, you want to confirm to this committee that 5.2 million was not spent on the elevation of a water tank that was used to collect water from the main building. But where is the evidence to that effect? Because by the time the auditor goes and queries something, you must rely on something. I don't think the auditor will wake up one day and say, I want to see how 5.2 million was spent. So is there proof to contravene or controvert that this 5.2 million was not spent? I yield, Chair.
Governor.
Chair, the first one is on non-provision of documents on time is tied to the challenge that we have had. Throughout the audit process, one of those human resource issues affected the county. We had a notification of employment for over 1,900 staff. A number of those staff were affected, were in finance and many other departments. So we have had a huge challenge with regard to provision of documents at the time of the audit. But Chair, as you can see, we have been able to retrieve all those documents and they are captured and they are part of the annexures. Secondly, we have 2 running contracts. One for the completion of the governor's building, the internal works, and then we have the external works. The external works includes the perimeter wall, the cabro works, and the storm drainage works, including the tank, the elevated tank, and all those works outside the building. But then the completion of the works within the building are ongoing. The contractor and these 2 contracts are running concurrently. The contractor who was doing the external works was a bit faster. Yet some of the works that the contractor has to conclude are dependent on the completion of the works by the contractor handling the main building, including, for example, the collection of the storm water and the rainwater collection is dependent on the completion of works by the contractor handling the works in the main building. As we have confirmed, is that they are now all back on site and the progress of the works, and I think the auditors who are present, visited the project just the other day. As we even speak right now, the completion works are ongoing. We hope that the contractor who is handling the internal works will complete the work within within reasonable time, and we should be able to conclude these works in good time. So it was not, both contracts were running. It's only that the contractor who was doing the internal works was a bit incapacitated, and the speed at which he was doing the works was a bit slow. I think those were the issues, Chair. There was one.
So the contractor doing the building was not paid because he had not done any work, because the budget had 20 million, but 4.3 million was paid.
Yeah, it
That
was
as per the certificates that were issued.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Any other question, members?
Chair, just 2 comments. One, the explanation is okay on the delayed